Hello everybody, it's your girlfriend 202 here, and today we're going to continue my series, Engines of Metro-North. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at the EMD FP10. Now without further ado, let's get started. In the early 1970s, passenger rail in America was at an all-time low, and locomotive manufacturers had abandoned passenger locomotives. There were no currently produced passenger locomotives on the market at the time that were equipped with head and power. The newly formed Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, or MBTA, were looking for a small order of locomotives to power commuter service, but found no available locomotives. The MBTA began looking for the next best thing, a rebuilt locomotive. The Illinois Central Gulf Railroad stepped up to produce a rebuilt locomotive for the MBTA called the EMD FP10. The locomotive would be rebuilt from old Gulf Mobile and Ohio Railroad EMD F3s and F7s, built in the 1940s. The rebuilds took place at the Illinois Gulf Central Railroad's Paducah, Kentucky shops. The locomotives emerged in the MBTA's purple, silver, and yellow paint scheme. The locomotives had the addition of dynamic brakes and a 470-volt head and power generator at the rear of the locomotive. The locomotives also had their classification lights replaced with marker lights for push-pull operation. These rebuilt locomotives were never sanctioned by EMD, and were also never extended beyond their original length like other EMD FP locomotives. The Illinois Central Gulf Railroad would eventually rebuild 18 of these locomotives for the MBTA. The MBTA were satisfied with their locomotives, but once the 1990s came around, locomotives were starting to show their age, and the MBTA sought to replace them. The MBTA bought F40 PHM-2C locomotives from Morris Knudsen to replace the EMD FP10 and support service increases. But that was not the end of the line for the EMD FP10. In 1990, Metro-North were looking for a small number of locomotives to finally retire the last of the railroad's RDCs and support service increases. Metro-North had a problem, however, as there was no new diesel-electric locomotive on offer to support Metro-North's unique requirements. Metro-North's trackage has some of the lowest clearances in the country, and Metro-North needed a low-clearance locomotive to accommodate that, meaning that F40PHs were off the table. Old EMD F units were designed to be low enough for the Northeast Railroad's low-clearance tunnels. The EMD FP10 was the newest locomotive available for the job, as it was an EMD F unit and was rebuilt compared to other retired F units, allowing a costly rebuilding of locomotives to be avoided. Metro-North took 4 of the MBTA EMD FP10 locomotives for service on unelectrified branch lines. Metro-North was happy with the locomotives, but they were always looking for an option to replace them. In 2008, that option was the BL20GH, and all of the EMD FP10s were retired from Metro-North service. 3 Metro-North locomotives are preserved. 410 is owned by the New York Transit Museum and is stored in Croton-Harmon. 412 is currently in service on the Adirondack Scenic Railroad, and 413 was transferred to the Danbury Railway Museum recently. Some of the MBTA-owned EMD FP10s went to serve on the Cape Cod Central and various other tourist lines. All of the others were scrapped. All in all, the EMD FP10 is a small part of Metro-North's history, but the locomotives were there when there was no other option for the railroad. And that is all that I could find about the EMD FP10. If you like this video, like it, and if you didn't, dislike it, that's fine too. Leave a comment for anything else, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye.